Right then, settle in for a story that's so unbelievable. If it were a film script, you'd send it back for being a bit much. It's about a chap who had what you might call the worst, and simultaneously the luckiest, week of his entire life. Our story begins in August 1945, with a 29-year-old naval engineer named Tsutomu Yamaguchi. He was a bright bloke, working for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, and on this particular day, he found himself on a business trip in Hiroshima. It was the final day of his trip, and he was just about ready to head home. On the morning of August 6th, as he was walking to the shipyard one last time, he heard the drone of a single aircraft in the sky. He looked up, and that's when he saw a small object drop from the plane, attached to a parachute. And then, a flash. A silent, blindingly white light that he later described as the lightning of a huge magnesium flare. The force of the blast threw him into the air, like a rag doll, rupturing his eardrums and temporarily blinding him. He landed in a potato patch, severely burned on the left side of his body. Despite his horrific injuries, he managed to find two of his colleagues who had also, miraculously, survived. They spent a night in an air raid shelter, utterly bewildered by the apocalyptic scene around them, before making their way to a train station the next day. They boarded a train packed with other dazed and injured survivors, and headed for home. And where was home for Mr. Yamaguchi? Nagasaki. He arrived back in Nagasaki, on August 8th, a spectral figure wrapped in bandages. He went to a local hospital, but the doctor, an old-school friend, could barely recognize him. The next day, August 9th, despite his severe burns and injuries, he dragged himself into his office at Mitsubishi to report to his boss about what had happened in Hiroshima. He was in the middle of describing the blinding white flash and the deafening boom to his rather skeptical supervisor, when once again, the world outside the window turned an unholy, brilliant white. Unbelievably, the second atomic bomb had just detonated over Nagasaki, a mere 3 kilometers from where he was standing. The shockwave shattered the office windows, but this time, Yamaguchi was thrown to the ground and was largely uninjured by the initial blast. His bandages were blown off, but his pre-existing wounds weren't made much worse. He had just survived a second nuclear apocalypse in 72 hours. Tsutomu Yamaguchi didn't just survive that day. He lived a long and full life. Passing away in 2010 at the age of 93, he became a vocal advocate for nuclear disarmament, a living testament to the sheer, indiscriminate horror of these weapons. His story isn't just a statistic. It's a stark, human reminder of what it truly means to endure the unthinkable, not once, but twice.